Okay, it's that time. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday feature. We're glad you could join us as we take a closer look at Blaze by Sonance, and more specifically, their high-performance amplifier solutions designed for pretty much any application. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to run through this real quickly. We'll cover the addition of Blaze Audio into the Sonance offering. We'll go over their product lineup, power and efficiency DSP capabilities that are built to deliver performance across both residential and commercial applications. Joining us today, we have our friend who's back with us, Jared Edwards, VP of Technical Training at GP Solutions. He handles Clearline with us. He's just had Power. Just brought him in for now Lunar Wall. So he knows the ins and outs about all of those brands and be able to train us very well. He brings a deep technical background. We'll walk through what sets Blaze amplifiers apart, along with practical insights that you can apply to your systems and your designs and installs. So any questions, go ahead and put them into the Q&A. We'll get those answered for you. This will be quick hitting, 30 minutes. We'll get through all the high points. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of us at 21st Century Distributing. We have them stocked in all of our locations now, so we're happy to help you with Blaze. Jared, how you doing, buddy? You doing okay?
I'm great, man. Hopefully I can live up to that introduction.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So yeah, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about Blaze. I know we were very excited a couple months ago when I guess it was what did Sonance acquire Blaze now?
Yeah,
That's the deal, right?
Yep. Yeah. So let's go through it a little bit and kind of give you a quick background of who Blaze is, what they are, why did Sonance buy them, and all of that stuff. So Sonance did purchase them last year back in May. And to kind of give you a quick little background, there is an OEM manufacturer of multi-channel amplifiers out of Denmark named Pascal. And Pascal you've probably never heard of, but I guarantee you've heard of all of the brands that they make amplifiers for. They're very popular. They're out there everywhere. I guarantee you know them. You've used a Pascal made amp. And several years ago, Pascal said, we don't really make anything that has our own stuff in it with our own technology and our own interface. And so they launched Blaze, and it became very popular very quickly, especially over in Europe, and went really, really well. And then, of course, Sonance came along last year, and they said, hey, we need to accelerate our amplifier offering and do things that our current amplifiers don't do. And we can spend years developing them, or you guys already have everything that we need with a reputation to go along with it. And so we'll just purchase the Blaze side of your business. And so that's exactly what they did, and that's kind of where it came from. So it's not a brand new company. It has a very long history from a very long, well-known, highly respected manufacturer in the space of multi-channel amplifiers. So quick background, that's kind of where it came from. What it does for you today is it increases the offering of Sonance amplifiers from 6 up to over 20 of them. What's interesting to me about this is that in a lot of cases, they actually are less expensive than the current or past about to be end of life Sonance amplifiers. So really, really cool stuff. A lot more features and most cases the same or a lower price point, which is always nice for dealers. There are 3 categories or versions that we'll talk about briefly today. There's what they call the Power Zone, the Power Zone Connect, and then the Power Zone Connect D, which stands for Dante, of course. And we'll talk briefly about those, but aren't going to spend a whole lot of time on them. Just know that there is Dante products that are in the line. So if you ever come across a job where they are requiring Dante, which of course it's going to be a very large commercial job. You're not going to do this in a home most likely, but if you do come across it, just know that Blaze does have Dante-enabled amplifiers, okay? So the way the lineup works is there are 1U and 2U units. There's what they call the Power Zone, which we'll talk about briefly in just a second. There's Power Zone Connect and then Power Zone Connect D. The blue highlighted rectangle there is where you're going to spend the majority of your time as far as products that fit the solutions and applications that you have. So let's dive into it real quickly here. First of all, excuse me, the way the model numbers work is the first couple of digits are the power output, and the last digit is the number of channels. And so you always want to add a 0 to the power output. So the Power Zone Connect 252, for example, is 250 watts by 2 channels. The Power Zone Connect 1008 is 1000 watts by 8 channels. Now you might be asking yourself, why don't they just break it down? Because if you do the math, 250 divided by 2 is 125 watts. And 1000 divided by 8 is also 125 watts. So why don't we just say 125 watts per channel? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One of them is that because these have a thing that they call power sharing, which means you can actually kind of steer power to different channels as needed. It's not just a dedicated amount of wattage to a dedicated channel. So there is some flexibility there. There's also another reason, which we'll get into in just a second. So that's just how the model numbers work as a quick, easy way to remember them. As far as the different categories go, there are 3 of them. Now, the power zone is probably something you won't spend a whole lot of time with. These are very, very basic, simple, low cost, signal in, amplifier out type situations. They are easily identifiable because they have physical knobs on the front, but there is no control. There is no ability to do anything with them or log into them or anything like that. This is just, hey, I've got an application where I've already got a source. I just need to amplify it out to a couple pairs of speakers. This is a great solution for that. Where I think the majority of you will spend the most of your time is going to be in the Power Zone Connect series, because these do have a network connection. They do have control. They've got a ton of features in them and a bunch of different amplifier options. And so this is where things get really, really fun. As you can see there are 2 types. There are half rack units and full rack units. And for any of those wondering, yes, rack ears come with every full width rack unit. So whether it's 1U or 2U, the rack ears come with it. They do not come with the half rack units because obviously there are multiple ways that you can mount those, whether it's side by side in a rack or on a wall or a piece of board or something like that. And we do, of course, have different mounting options and different mounting brackets available that you can purchase to meet whatever the requirement is that you have for that particular install. But as you can see here, there are a lot of different options, 2-channel, 4-channel, and 8-channel with both 60 and 125 watt options for each one. One of the things to point out to you is that all of the 1U amps are stable down to 4 ohms with all channels being driven at the same time. So very robust, very capable, and stable amplifiers. The next step up is the, here's all of the half rack mounting options, just so that you're aware. Like I said, you can put them side by side, you can put them on a wall. There's several different options for you there. The next step up is the 2U, and these have the exact same features, just more of everything, more power specifically, and more capability as far as the impedance load. As you can see here, there's also 2, 4, and 8-channel amplifiers. Don't worry, there is no quiz at the end. You don't have to remember all of this. We are certainly here to help you do that and figure out which one is going to work for your application. But you've got a lot of different power options there. And the cool thing about these is that they are stable down to 2 ohms with all channels driven. So the easy way to remember that, of course, is 2U means they're 2 ohm stable. 1U is 4 ohm stable. So there's a little bit of a giveaway on this screen as to the other reason why they give you the total power output and don't break it down per amplifier channel. And that is because one of the things that is unique here is every single one of these amplifiers can run in both 8 ohm or 70 volt mode. And it is not just one or the other. You can specify this on a per channel basis. So you can have part of the amp running in 70 volt mode and the other part running in 8 ohm mode if you want to or need to. So unlike the Sonance amplifiers, where there was only one of them in the entire line that could run 70 volt systems, In Blaze, it's very different because every single amplifier can do that. As you can see there, you can do 70 volt, 100 volt. You can bridge the amplifier channels if you need to run a sub or need extra power for whatever reason. So lots of different options. And again, every single model can do this. So really kind of a cool, nice upgrade. There is a DSP built into them, and yes, the Sonance amps have had DSP built into some of their amplifiers for a while, but this DSP is about 4 times more powerful than the Sonance version was. A really, really capable DSP. There is a DSP curve and a profile for every single Sonance speaker in the line. It even starts to drill down to things like with the Invisibles, you can now say I'm using IS8s and I've got either 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeters worth of material on top of the speaker. So you can really dial it in because of the capabilities of this DSP and really focus in on what it is you've got for your install and make it work and perform to its best capability. There are also other DSP profiles for lots of different other brands of speakers. I know we get that question quite a bit, and yes, they are available. So if you're not using a Sonance speaker, you've got something else and you're just adding amplification, we have DSP curves for a lot of other commercial brands as well. So that's just a really nice thing to have, is the DSP much more capable. For those that may be looking at a small commercial type application, these also have audio ducking built in. If you're not familiar with what that is, it allows you to have a source, usually a microphone or something, or some sort of PA system, where when you hit the button for the microphone, it will duck the audio down and lower it down. You talk into the microphone, make your announcement, and then the audio comes back up. We also see people use this in applications for like doorbells at a front door or a front gate intercom or something like that. So there's obviously a residential application for it as well. But every one of the amplifiers has this built in. And I bring this up because a couple months ago, I was involved in a situation where it was a bowling alley and they wanted this exact feature, and the Blaze product wasn't quite ready to go yet. And so we didn't have that option for them, but now we do. And so we can take care of it in-house. So not something that you might use all the time. Just wanted to point out that it is built in and it is there if you have that need. Now, as far as setup goes, there is a very, very small amount of setup that is required. And I mean very, very small. I'll show you that here in just a moment. We're talking less than a minute or two. And some of you may ask, well, why do I have to set it up? Well, the reason is because you have to configure input, zone, and output, because these are essentially an audio matrix with an amplifier attached to each channel. So you can literally route any input to any output or vice versa and send signal wherever you want. And so you do have to tell the amplifier a very little amount about how you want it to be used. In other words, am I using it in 8 ohm or 70 volt mode? Are these stereo pairs of speakers instead of mono? What are my zones called so that I can control them properly and know which room I'm talking about controlling? So there is a very small amount of setup, and again, I'll show you that here in just a moment. But just so that you know, these are very capable. Like I said, they are an audio matrix with amplifiers attached, so you need to tell it what it is you want it to do so that it can operate the way that you want it to. Okay? Two last things. One is network access. This is a thing that I've never seen before in a amplifier, which I thought was a really cool feature. When you first power it up, whether it's connected to anything else, let's say that the power cord is the only thing plugged into it, it will start to broadcast its own Wi-Fi SSID. You can take your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever you've got, and you do not have to use and download a specific app. You simply connect to this directly to this Wi-Fi and type in the IP address that's the default, and you're in. You can completely configure everything from that point. So you don't have to have a full network up and running to configure these. You also don't have to be in some sort of close proximity that you would have to be with a Bluetooth enabled app. So really kind of a cool feature. Once you get into it, of course, there are several things that you can do with the Wi-Fi. You can disable it if you plug in an Ethernet cable, which if you're going to use any sort of control, I would highly recommend. Do not rely on just the Wi-Fi. But you can also turn this into an access point client instead of a access point, where it will attach to the regular network with its own Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet. But again, I would highly recommend that if you're going to use some sort of control, plug it into Ethernet and have that wired stability there. So really, really cool stuff. Really easy way to get into it and access it to set it up. There are control drivers available currently. So if you are using a control system, yes, we do have drivers available for them already. There's 2 that are in the works that should be coming soon, and that is Savant and Josh AI. So those are on the way, but these 8 that you see here are already up and running and available for you to download currently. So if you are integrating a Blaze amplifier into one of these systems, you're good to go. If you don't have a control system, let's say you're doing a smaller job and maybe they just don't have the budget or the need for a control system, and all you're doing is an audio system in there. Maybe it's a sports bar or a restaurant or a boardroom, as you can see on the screen here. There are 2 ways that you can control these that I think are really cool, that makes it so that you can give your end user complete access and control to this without having to have an automation system. And the first one of these is this PoE wall controller. This just plugs into a PoE switch anywhere on the network, and then it allows you to attach it to the amplifier via the network. And then, of course, you can control any volume, any zone, any source from this unit. Now, volume controls are nice. Some people like them. Some people don't like the look. Some people don't want that on their wall, and that is perfectly okay. This is an easy way to control things if they need it. But if they don't want a volume control look, there is also a dedicated user interface already built into every PowerZone Connect amplifier that you as the integrator can determine what it is that the end user has control of and can view. So when you get into this, you can put a password on it, and then you enable that user control toggle down at the bottom. And then it will give you a drop down so that you can say, I want to give you control of this zone and this zone and this zone and this zone, but not the other one. And you can control that. Then when the end user logs into it and they just type in the IP address. So, of course, if you're a smart dealer, you will type in the IP address for them and save that in their browser. So all they have to do is recall that page. And then this is what they'll see. It is literally a very simple interface that they can use on a phone or an iPad or whatever it is that they want, and they can literally walk around and control the entire audio system from that device. Gives them the ability to change inputs, change volume, mute, do whatever it is that they need to do and control that system. Again, all of this is built into the Blaze amplifier. There is no licensing. There's no additional fee for it. It's part of the amplifier. And this allows you, again, like I said, to give your end user the ability to control the audio system without having to have an automation system on there. Now, please don't misunderstand. I'm not by any means saying to not sell an automation system. If that's what's appropriate for the job, absolutely go for it. That's why we have all the control drivers. But if they just need a simple interface and a simple way to control it, and they don't have an automation system, you don't have to feel like you have to add an automation system just to give them some control. It's already built in. Okay, so let's set one up. So I'm going to get out of this screen here for just a moment. See if I can go back to this. And then I will share the other screen.
Okay, while you're doing that, if you can multitask. One of the questions that came in was replacing Sonance amplifiers. So I guess there's a bunch of amplifiers that are going away. I know the UA amps are staying, correct? And some of the other ones are being discontinued, or the Blaze are going to take over, right? Is there, do you know how many of them, or is it just the UA amps?
The UA amp is staying. There's two that are the non-DSP amps. I believe there's an 8-channel and a 16-channel that are also staying. Everything else is transitioning over to Blaze.
Got it. Okay.
So your DSP amps, your 8130s, the two 150. Those are all going to be transitioning over to Blaze. In fact, they kind of already are. Yep. And that's, as a matter of fact, that's why I chose to use the model numbers that I did. That Power Zone Connect 252 is your replacement for the 2150. The 1008 is the replacement for the 8130. So, and again, more capabilities and everything that we talked about. So yes, the UA amps and the two, I hate to use the term dummy amps, but the non-DSP amps, an 8-channel and a 16-channel are staying. Everything else is transitioning.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions we want to go over real quick?
No, I mean, the other ones have been pretty much answered. I mean, from a system design standpoint, how do Blaze amplifiers complement Sonance speaker solutions, which, I guess we're covering right now is all the DSP settings in there. And then how much control do integrators actually have when they're tuning a system? And that's pretty much what we're going over right now. Okay. So,
yeah. So there, I won't go into everything, but to answer those questions, there are an incredible amount of rabbit holes you can dive down. There are EQs and DSPs and control for days as to what you can have the speaker do. So yes, to answer that question, there's a ton of control and capability that you have over each individual zone. What I want to do real quick right now here is show you the very easy way to set one of these up so that it can work the way that you want. And as you can kind of see here, I've got a 4-zone amplifier with audio playing through it, and all of them are kind of doing the same thing. Like I mentioned, you need to set up input, zone, and output. And it's as easy as this. You click on input, and right now everything, as you can see, is an individual channel all in mono. But I'm running pairs of speakers in a room. So I need to change that to stereo. The easy way to do that is you just click on the mono button and boom, it takes channels 1 and 2 and makes them stereo pairs. Same thing here. Now I've got a stereo pair on both of them. So I'm going to rename this, and let's say that this is my input, and we're going to go old school today. We're going to call this the iPod. And then on this one, we're going to go CD player, because I know that's what everybody uses for audio these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I've got my two input zone, and they're going to play in stereo pairs instead of mono. Okay, that's it. Now you can see here that there's two different volume levels here. So what's going to happen is as the user changes from one source to the other, there's going to be a volume difference. He's going to be either reaching for the volume control real quick, or he's going to be trying to turn it up a little bit. So I can actually take and either increase or decrease the trim level here so that they're much more matched, so that now it's a better experience for him as he goes through both changes from one source to the other. I can kind of match them a little more closely. Again, just little things that you can do to really dial it in. For the person that asked for the EQ question, there's a bunch of EQ settings here that you can dive into, as well as the DSP stuff. So yes, lots of different things. Okay, so that's it. You set up stereo or mono, name your input, adjust the gain or trim if you need to, and you're done. Zone. Now I need to tell it again that I'm running stereo pairs of zones. So I'm going to click the mono button. It changes to stereo. You can see right here it combines those two. And I'm going to call this living room. Okay. Then I'm going to switch over to this one, and the same thing. I need a stereo pair, and I'm going to call this one kitchen. And I'm done. That's it. Okay. Now, there's lots of different things that I can go into here. Again, we're not going to go down every rabbit hole. That's all you need to do to set up zones. Then as far as output goes, it is going to try and predict and guess what it is that you have done based on the other two settings in those other two categories. So it will say, okay, for this output one here, I'm guessing that you're going to be living room left. Guess which number 2 is going to be? You got it, living room right. And so it will try to go through and guess and predict what it is that you are trying to set up. If it's wrong, of course, you can override it and set it up the way that you need to. So in here, I can call this, living room left if I want to. You don't have to name these, but you certainly can. I can call this living room right, and you get the gist here, so on and so forth. Kitchen left and kitchen right. You get the idea, okay? And that's all we have to do. Setup is done. Again, there are a ton of things that you can do. There's a equalizer here that you can jump into. There's an overall equalizer for this particular channel. There are speaker presets that you can jump into as well. You can see all the different options here for changing polarity, equalizing speaker, gains, crossovers, driver alignments. All that stuff is available for you here. The other thing I wanted to show you. Sorry, go ahead.
Is that from library? Is that the actual speakers, the Sonance speakers, or what's?
Yeah, so the speaker library is where the DSP is. And as you can see, there's every single speaker, every single Sonance speaker in the list. Is that what you were asking, Mark?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So speaker library is in there, and you can obviously import different libraries. There's lots of different ones that we have available, and then you can assign these to a specific output or a specific amplifier channel, so that you can get it to the right speaker that's actually attached to. So again, really, really cool stuff. The other thing I wanted to show you real quickly here is where is the security. Under security, if I type a password in, and I'm going to do a super secret one called 1234, don't anybody tell on me, and I'm going to apply it. And now I can turn on this user control option, and you as the integrator get to determine which zones you're going to allow them to have access to. If I hit apply here and bring up a new tab, you'll see here that all of a sudden now the only thing I get is that user interface. So I can determine which zone I want them to have access to, or which input I can access to. Yes, you can hide all of these others so that they only see what is an active source. So if I wanted to switch and have both of them play the same thing, I can do that. I can adjust the volume right here. I can mute them. I can mute all of the zones. I can change, the input over here, whatever I want it to be, and we're good to go. Now that's all that they will see. If you as the integrator ever need to get back in, here's this login button right here. You click that, it asks for your super secret password, type that in, and boom, you're right back into, you're right back into the interface. Sorry, did that not come through? I just realized it was.
Yep.
So if I go back here, this should give me, boom, there's your interface right here, okay? So as you can see here, I can change it to whatever I want it to be. And then again, here's this login button right here. Type in super secret password, and you're right back into the full interface, okay? Now, that's bringing us up to about the time that we wanted to go over today. And so I just wanted to give you a real quick overview. Again, hopefully you can see there are a ton of things that you can do in that user interface with very minute control over a speaker or over a zone if you want to. Obviously, we don't have time to go into all of that today. But Mark, any questions or anything that have come up?
No, I mean, getting into also, we even touched on like the Dante settings and the other, amplifiers for more commercial, but I mean, we can even set up another webinar to go over that as well. I think we pretty much did what we were supposed to do, cover the basics. If anybody has any questions, shares a wealth of information. We could share his contact information with you guys. Also, call one of us if you need any help with setting up system design. Global does a great job with that as well. Which speakers pair up with which amplifiers, whether you're doing an invisible setup, distributed audio, outdoor system. We could use Blaze for all of that. So, I really appreciate you, Jared, joining us today. We'll have this recording on our VCC. I did see a few people jumped in here late. So if you want to view the whole thing, if you missed the first few minutes, we will have that on our virtual conference center and on the Sonance Blaze vendor page. So really appreciate it, Jared. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the capabilities and flexibility of Blaze, and go for it. I've been using one for a while now. They sound really good too. That's maybe an important detail to mention, is they actually do sound really, really good. So really great amplifiers, a great addition to the Sonance line. We're excited to be able to move forward with them. So
sweet. Well, thank you so much, Jared. Really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to your rep at 21st. And we'll see you guys next week for our next Friday feature. Thanks, everybody.